So we arrived at the bottom of the circle, which is occupied by the Wheel of Fortune or the cycle card. And that is an auspicious card for you. And it's right across from you, opposing you or complementing you. And it's a very benevolent power and has all to do with timing and cycles, quarterly cycles, planetary cycles, day and night cycle, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Sleep cycles.
Yes, your sleep cycle. Did it get better?
Yeah, it has. It has for the most part. Every once in a while I have a weird night. Last night was not a good sleep night for some reason, but I think it was more I did a lot of work outside yesterday.
Maybe
I'm just
too tired.
distracted. Yes, I'm very tired. There's a hummingbird on my porch, so I'm a little distracted. But yeah, it's definitely gotten better.
So I think this card has to do with the Sun card, the Vitality card, because it's a way of dealing with the forces around you, the ebb and flow of the forces. So if you learn how to tune yourself to the cycles, you will be in a better position to deal with the low vitality. Because you go with the flow, so to say, with the surf. Study as much as you can in this area, as astrology, feng shui, all these disciplines belong to this card. And if you learn about the cycles, energy cycles, I think it will help you to deal with times when your vitality is low.
Yeah. I'm trying to, I'm working on the astrology, trying to figure out, I've got a general knowledge of it, but I'm trying to understand how the moon and the planets moving through and all that affect things, trying to follow that.
Yeah, but astrology is very complicated. I think
is.
you better learn feng shui first, but find a consultant, an astrological consultant. I think that's better for you right now because it takes a long time to get a grip on astrology.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I do. I have a woman that she read my natal chart, and I have my natal chart. She explained a lot of those things to me. I should go and see her like every once in a while to have her explain the planets, because that's the part that like what's moving through and all that I'm not really good at.
If you meet this woman, you should come out with some action items. Yeah. On full moon, do this. On new moon, do this. Mercury retrograde, do this. And when the moon is in Pisces, do this. So there should be some kind of an action item list.
Yeah.
That helps you to
actually
make use of these cycles.
Yeah, like a goal for those different times. Because I do think they affect people profoundly.
Yeah, profoundly, but unrecognized. I don't find the proper word right now. These forces work behind the scene, and we don't really feel how they affect us, but they do really affect us.
Well, I worked in in a facility with mentally disabled people, and the moon definitely made a difference. So
yeah, I can imagine.
It was predictable.
Okay, so the next card is the Two of Swords. The name is Principles, and the card is Auspicious. And we discussed this already, that you need to identify the right principles that apply to you and follow these principles, no matter what.
It's auspicious?
Yes, so it will help you to overcome your challenge.
Well, principles kind of go along with some of the other cards, like management, Four of Pentacles.
Exactly, yeah.
It kind of fits in with other cards that are there.
That you need to gain control over your situation, manage it, set goals, follow the principles. Correct, yes.
And decisions.
Yes, make decisions. So you have looks like you have a few cards that, that's like a little team that will help you to overcome your challenge. And this card belongs to this rational, goal-oriented management team. Okay, then we come to another very important card, which is highlighted. It's the Hermit, and the Hermit is related to Virgo.
What is the name?
Attainment, and it relates to attainment of a skill or a faculty or something internal. It's not the attainment of a house or a car. External attainments are accomplishment. So this is really the attainment of a power or faculty or skill.
Yeah, I feel like I need to be the hermit every once in a while. Very much so. I like being the hermit.
It makes you feel good?
Yeah, it does. I can think.
Yeah, maybe you should then choose this card too, to work with this card, and maybe meditate on it 5-10 minutes every day.
Yeah, I like that card. I do. I feel like it's it's kind of like a grounding card, like you have peace and you can just go ground yourself and attain peace. Let's put it that way. That's how I see it.
Attain peace of mind. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Then the next card is the Empress or Generation card, which is auspicious. And on this level, I believe it stands for creative imagination. Yeah, that you not only follow the right principles, but that you also produce the correct images, or that you visualize correctly in order to overcome your challenge. What do you think about that card?
Having the right picture in my mind of my plan and what I'm going to do, and just, you have to imagine it and see it in your mind before you can do something. So I think creative imagination is important, especially when you're going through a difficult time. You have to be able to use creative imagination to picture how it can be made different.
Yes, and the creative imagination should be positive. You need to create positive images of your future. And the direction that's associated with the Empress is East, and East stands for the future. So this card really is the key to your future. While, for example, reason is maybe a thing of the past. You reason what happened in the past, or your history, and of the present. You reason, okay, what should I do now?
Yeah.
What's the situation? But the Empress is now the first card that really looks into the future. Yeah, of how to deal with your challenge. And it's auspicious, which is very good. So you need to train and use creative imagination in order to, meet your goal or move towards your goal.
And the Emperor is in the spread too.
Yes, he is. And he's also auspicious. So you have the mentally male power is represented by the Emperor, and the mental female powers are represented by the Empress, and they're both auspicious. So that's good news.
Yeah, I always see the Empress as Mother Earth.
Yeah, on the bodily level, it's Mother Earth. But on the other levels, for example, on the spiritual level, she is actually the soul of the universe. Okay? Then the next card is the Spirit card, and it's auspicious. It stands for spiritual energy. And this correlates with the Sun card, the Vitality card, which is, a cross on the other side. And that's in the current situation, the biggest challenge you have is that you lack vitality and you lack spirit or spiritual energy. And you need to take this into consideration, and you need to do everything you can to increase spiritual energies and vitality whenever you can. And that's where all the other cards come in, the goal card, the decision card, the planning card, the management card. You need to use all those powers to increase your vitality and your spirit. Think of the spirit as a spiritual energy on the spiritual plane. And we are on the spiritual plane, and you have been, in your life, neglecting the spiritual plane and not cultivating spirit. Okay, so that's something you need to catch up with. Does something else come to mind when you think of this card?
I'm taking a leap of faith,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the positive use of the Spirit card, because the Spirit also stands for adventure.
Mhm.
Yeah, so taking a leap of faith and going on an adventure. So that's would be the positive application of this card. Very good.
Yeah, and
And
it's
you feel like
definitely
doing that.
yeah.
Okay, very good. So you're kind of turning the card around. Good. Okay. Then we have the
Yes.
Nine of Swords, which is industriousness, auspicious, and I think it fits with the other, with the team, with the rational decision making and management and so on team. What do you think?
Industriousness, yeah.
Yeah.
Swords, very much, mental and learning and thinking. And
It stands for
it's like,
intellectual energy.
yeah, I've been doing a lot of research on the disorder.
Yes, for
So,
that you need intellectual energy. So this card represents the intellectual drive or energy you have to research. It's
mhm.
very good. You realize this very well.
Yeah, it's been almost like being in nursing school again, like reviewing a lot of things that, you forget over the years that you learned, and going back and reviewing things and learning new things, just so that I understand exactly what's going on.
Hmm. Okay, very good. Okay, then we have the qualification card, which is inauspicious. It's the Eight of Pentacles. And we already discussed this. You have not been qualified to deal with your challenges, but now you're on the way to qualify
I'm
through.
working on it.
You're working in it. Yes, exactly. Then we have the Five of Pentacles. The name is Adaptation, and it's auspicious, another auspicious card. And it stands for, I think you said the new normal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you need to adapt to the situation. Don't go back in history and say, oh, I lost my Dolce Vita. No, you have to adapt to your new situation and don't ignore what's going on right now.
Yeah. And Five of Pentacles is a struggle. It's looking ahead instead of looking behind.
Yeah, I think it's more in the present. So you need to adapt to the present situation and the laws that are applicable to your present situation.
Yeah, that card makes sense.
Okay, next card is Page of Wands, and it's inauspicious. And we think that the Page of Wands stands for your spiritual body, which has been malnourished during your youth and your adulthood, but you now have the strong feeling to lead a more spiritual life and nurture your spiritual body. It has to do also with the Spirit card, the reverse Spirit card. They have similar meanings. The Spirit card meant you lack spiritual energy. And that's something you need to turn around by, I don't know, studying spiritual wisdom and by meditating and doing other spiritual practices. The next card is the suggestion card, which is auspicious. And this plays together with the Empress, which is creative imagination. So if you create positive images, yeah, you visualize your future in a positive way. Yeah, this gives a strong suggestion to your mind and your body to improve your life and improve your health. So this is auspicious, which is very good news.
Mm-hmm.
Does the card make you think of anything? The woman taming the red lion?
I just have to be persistent and be strong.
Yes, correct. And where you get the strength from, you get it from the red lion.
Mm-hmm.
And the red lion is your basic energy from which you draw. And when people get depressed, they actually lose the access to that energy. And
Yeah.
the woman is opening the mouth of the lion, and that means symbolically that she's making the lion speak. So you have to learn how to deal with your energies, in particular this basic drive, basic energy that you have, because from this energy you can create other energies. For example, you can
Kind of
create.
like the
Yeah.
power of suggestion to myself.
Yes,
And
yes. So you're suggesting to yourself that you have the power, that you have the
yeah.
energy. You just need to apply it properly, and that's where the Empress comes in with her creative imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Mind, the same woman. Yeah, the same woman in the Empress card and in the Strength card.
Okay.
Okay, then we have the attention card, which is also auspicious. And attention means, of course, that you focus on your tasks at hand and that you don't let yourself get distracted. And because focusing energy means focusing power, and that will definitely help you to improve your vitality and invite spirit into your life and your body, mind, and vehicle. You need to practice attention, you need to practice focus, and you already started with that by starting to practice meditation, because you cannot properly meditate if you don't learn how to focus. So these two things go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to focus on my goals.
Yeah.
And put all my attention into it. That does make sense.
All right. Then we have
Yes.
the Ace of Swords, which is auspicious, and the name of it is Venture. The card symbolizes or signifies that you should take your challenge as an adventure. Yeah, and it's a spiritual adventure. You have been neglecting your spiritual life, and now somehow this challenge is forcing you to remember your spiritual side and the spiritual things you want to accomplish in this life. But you should not take this as an ordeal or something bad coming to your life, but as an adventure.
And it kind of follows, this power of suggestion and focus, attention.
Yes, yes. And these three cards, very good. These three cards, suggestion, attention, and venture, they look into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good observation.
Yeah, and it's hard to think about the future sometimes going through something like this.
Yeah, but that's where these powers help you.
Yeah.
So if you meditate with these cards and think of these cards every time you drift into negativity, they will help you to get out of the negativity.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I like the three of them together.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have the Four of Cups, which is potential and which is inauspicious. And we identified this card as a significator for your leniency and indulgence towards your son.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's inauspicious, and it helped bring about your challenge.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Okay, then we come to the Three of Swords, which is, the meaning is understanding, and it's auspicious, and it's highlighted. So this is one of the 4 or 5 cards that are very important. They're very important faculties that will help you to overcome your challenge.
Understanding?
Yes, understanding. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's part of the teamwork, I think, of understanding, researching, and setting goals. And yeah, we had it. So it's part of this team that will help you to overcome the challenge.
Yeah, it's an important card.
So you need to really understand everything. Don't take anything at face value. You research everything and you understand everything yourself. Don't let the doctor tell you, okay, it's like this, like that. No, you research. You understand it yourself.
Yeah, you really have to. It's strange because it's not like a normal type of cancer. It can change and alter and take on different forms, and you really have to know, you really have to understand all that. I just don't know how. I mean, a lot of people just can't deal with that, trying to follow what's going on and learn about it, and I can understand that. I just, if you don't have a little bit of medical knowledge to begin with, I can't imagine how overwhelming it is to deal with it. But
so it's a complex disease, and you have to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why this card is highlighted.
Yeah, that's important.
All right. Then we come to the last card, which is the Two of Pentacles, and is inauspicious, and the title is Strategy. And since it's inauspicious, it has helped your challenge to come about. And we discussed this already. You have not led a strategic life in the past. And that you need to turn around, but you have a lot of helpers, the team that we identified, and strategy definitely fits very well into this team. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it does, definitely.
Hmm. Okay.
Because everything with it is a strategy, and then, you know, keeping it balanced,
Yeah.
changing the strategy as things, if things
Yes.
progress
Also
in
changing
a
strategy.
way.
Very good.
So it is definitely, and the balance and the struggle. I mean, it's a struggle to constantly keep it balanced and going in the right direction.
Yes, and you can't do that if you don't have a strategy, because then
Yeah.
you're like a leaf in the wind.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so with this, we came to the end of our long, long, long tarot reading.
The longest tarot reading ever.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It made a lot of sense, though. It really did.
Yes,
I
I
think
mean,
I've
you have
got
a
a,
complex challenge, you have a complex spread, and it took a long time to go through the spread.
yeah,
Now the ball is in your court.
yeah. It's kind of like a life path, like it
Yes,
gave
and
me
it,
a lot
yeah,
to work with.
it can be that you will have to live with the CLL all your life. But
Yeah. Well,
don't
I
beat your
will.
chest. That's part of aging. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
for example, I have a back problem, lower back problem, a slipped disc, and that's something I
Yeah.
have to live with all my life, and I have to take care of it all my life. And of course, it's by no means as challenging as the CLL, but it's in principle it's the same thing. When we get older,
Yeah.
things add up that we have to live with, and
Yeah.
that's part of life. But maybe
Yeah.
if you really work with the spread and all the forces that are available to you, you may even be able to reverse the CLL.
Yeah. It's possible. I mean, it's not curable, but it can go into remission. So, I mean, all of the strategies and the discipline and management put together, maybe it could go into remission.
Yes. And what is the meaning of you meeting me and we going
Yeah.
through the spread, then putting this CLL in remission?
Yeah. Definitely.
So you should have a lot of confidence and faith. Faith.
Yeah. And I mean, things happen for a reason. I believe that.
Yeah, exactly. You have a lot of reason to have faith. There are a lot of auspicious cards in your spread.
Yeah. I'm going to have to take my cards from your deck and lay them all out in the right order and just keep studying it.
I'm sure you will discover more things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the way it is with tarot cards, is that you never learn everything. The more you study it, the more you pull out of each individual card.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
If,
I learned so much from this. I really appreciate it.
okay.
And I'm sure that I'm going to enjoy looking back on it and learning more.
I want to thank you for doing this. For sure, this was not easy on your side, and I really learned a lot from this myself.
Oh, good.
And the videos will definitely help to promote the Enlightenment Tarot. So I want to thank you for doing this long reading.
Well, I enjoyed every minute of it. I really feel like I got so much out of it. I appreciate it too. I mean,
okay, so do I.
good.
Yeah, and of course, if you have a question, just shoot me a question. I'm just a message away.
Okay, I'm sure I will pester you at some point.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, Kim. Then have
All
a
right.
nice day.
You too.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.